Well, my Polaris is torn apart again. It's the second time I've taken the engine out. Here's the bearing that caused it all. Upper rod bearing. All the rollers, I don't know if that's all of them, I think I might have lost one or two, but they were all still in that, on the pin there. But they were all like, pushed up together. I think this cage for the most part just minced up into a million pieces, but there must have been one chunk that happened to get stuck kind of in one of those transfer ports. Or I guess I should say between the transfer port and the piston. Put a big nasty scrape on my piston, but didn't harm the cylinder at all. And went right up to the top, as you can see, and then it must have got sucked up above the piston and pushed out the exhaust, because I'm not seeing anything down in that crank. Of course, I know I should split it again and make sure to clean it out properly and stuff, but man, shavings are already flying around in there. I'm just going to flush it out really good with some gas a couple of times. Brand new crank bearings. Only have about 1 week of ripping on them. Anyways, I zoned out here. That piece scraped all the way up past the rings here, and you can see it made the rings get stuck. They're stuck like that. When the rings get stuck, they don't really seal the cylinder properly anymore, and lost all compression and my bike shut down. And I was just putting her when this happened. Thankfully, I wasn't just like full out going down the road or something. So my plan here is see if I can get these rings out of here without hurting them. Take a file or something, maybe even just some sandpaper. See if I can get these ring grooves smooth again, and maybe I'll just hit the face of this piston just a little bit. I know this is not ideal, but hey, this is Rupert's Redneck Repair. Fixing it properly wouldn't make a good video. Not exactly recommending you do this, by the way. I still have the original upper rod bearing, and I don't think anything was really wrong with it. I just wanted to buy a new one, and I got some unbranded one off Amazon, and that's what happened. So I'll just clean this up real quick, some gas or something, and she'll be fine. There we go. Awesome. Bottom ring off. Now we can kind of closer see our damage here. You can see how the ring grooves are just a little smaller where that scrape is. I'm going to go ahead and take a file or something and see if I can smooth those over a little bit. Maybe take some sandpaper and just ever so lightly run over this groove here just so it doesn't have any sharp edges. I'll shut the camera off for a bit because my battery ain't mint anymore. Well, I managed to finally get those grooves out. I found this broken chunk of knife sharpening stone, and this end just perfectly fit right in here. Right on. Now I'm going to go find some sandpaper I can kind of touch the side of this piston up with. Alright, I found my 240 grit. By no means is this the golden standard for sanding down your pistons with. This just happens to be the weight that I had lying around. I mean, a person shouldn't be sanding their friggin' piston down in the first place anyways, but like I said, I'm going to get a new top end for it here in the future. I'm going to see if I can rock her the way she is for now. Well, I don't know if I just made a huge mistake sanding this piston up or not, but hey, I had to get them sharp points out of there. I kind of don't want it to wreck my cylinder, even though I might have just caused some weird piston slap issues now, but we'll see. Real unscathed. Right on. Alrighty, at the bottom of the crankcase on these Polaris 2-stroke engines, at least on these old quads anyways, you have what is known as a crankcase drain bolt. always drop it on the floor. That's always the best thing. There's a bunch of gunk in there. Couple of chunks. Okay, that baby's good to go. I gotta give the upper rod bearing a quick flush. These pins here that hold the rings in place when they're in the ring grooves on the piston should be facing towards the intake side. Halt everything, I lost my lighter. Alright, head bolt torque for the Polaris 300 is 17 to 19 foot-pounds. Alright, engine's back together. Time to slap it in. Almost forgot to see if it's got compression. Oh yeah! Alright, fully assembled. Moment of truth. Is it gonna run? This is the most anticipating moment of the whole thing. Usually I'd like to give them a test start before I get them all back together, but I just, for the video, I want it to be like fully together, ready to rip. Well, she runs, but I just realized I forgot to put the air cleaner on.
Sounds okay? Didn't seize up?
No, didn't seize up. Boy, doesn't that just look majestic? It runs, believe it or not. Skunk, can you please not just sit there and eat birdseed right in front of my house?